Okay, setting a proper motivation with 3 points. Okay, now today and tomorrow, what we're doing is like it's going to be like a complete practice. Complete practice meaning that each one of us will go back and if you get a feeling that okay, this is something that now I found the complete manual for my personal practice to be done on a daily basis. So what we're going to do today and tomorrow is going to be, hopefully, it's going to be complete. And when you do in public, when you do in group, it may take about like 1.5 hours to 2 hours. But when you do it by yourself, it'll take, you can make it like half an hour to like 1 hour, depending on you. But when you do by yourself, it's much, it can be quicker. But in group, it takes longer duration. Okay, so what I'm saying is that people, when they're into dharma and they become interested in this, I have to do something, and then don't know what it, then they spend so much of time in recitation, reciting, and so forth. There's nothing wrong in it. There's much better than not doing anything. But that we spend time, and why not we make it very productive, cost effective, and for that purpose, we need to know how to do that in a very succinct way. That whatever you do, whatever time that you spend on a daily basis, the effect is the visible. Okay, so this is what is expected, to know how to do your daily practice. So with this in mind, beginning with setting proper motivation, for which there are 3 parts: refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice. First, the refuge field, which is Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us. And how you visualize them, it makes the whole difference. That they are so loving, caring, and embracing. Bodhicitta field, your two kind parents and all of family members, including children and all dear sentient beings, animals, humans, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, hell beings, god and goddesses, spirits, everyone living on the side with you. And here you are like the mother, and all others are like children. That you are so loving, caring, and embracing to each of these dear sentient beings. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken the incredibly precious Buddha nature within us. Each one of us, we have the seed of perfection, no matter what gender, ethnicity, religion, age, social status. Everyone has the same potential, and that too the potential of perfection. Everyone has this. Nobody can diminish this potential. You have this incredibly beautiful potential, powerful potential. So our job is to awaken this. Anybody who works in the direction of awakening this potential, this is a wise person. And anybody who remains oblivious to this and looking for external factors for greater happiness, this is unwise, small children like. So how to awaken this seed? Given that it's like a gold mixed with the mud, we don't do anything to bring the gold inside you. There's gold there. Just the fact that the gold does not glow because of the presence of mud, our job is to remove the mud. What is this mud? This mud is the mental defilements, afflictive obscurations, cognitive obscurations. How to remove them? Remove them by resorting to a very powerful remedy, that is the wisdom of emptiness. And this wisdom of emptiness must be complemented by bodhicitta and renunciation as the reinforcing agent to make this wisdom very powerful. For this, with this mind, and the whole endeavor of ours is to awaken this wisdom complemented by bodhicitta, wisdom of the unconditional love of bodhicitta, and the very powerful, the sensible thought of the renunciation. And you inspire all the dear mother sentient beings. Look, this is the most meaningful thing that we can do in our life. And everybody is so inspired by you. And we begin this practice, let us turn to page 3. And in the great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And please, and also remember, excuse me, hello, one second. And also remember that as you recite these lines, verses, paragraphs, there are 3 ways of reciting it. Don't forget it. Number 1 is where only the words flow. That's it. Your mind can be distracted, sleepy, and where the benefit is least. Then the words flow and the meaning is reflected. There, the benefit, you really get the benefit. What's the benefit? Benefit is to grow your mind, remove the mental defilement, make your mind more stable. So this is what happens only when the meanings are reflected. This for sure. And it doesn't matter who you are. So if you reflect on meanings, and somebody who knows the meaning so well, these meanings so less, versus somebody who knows the meaning so clearly, and who knows the meaning so less, but trying the best to reflect the meanings. And someone who knows the meaning so well, but the mind is scattered. That person who knows the meaning less, but attempting to think of the meanings, that person reaps more benefit because the change is happening more within. Okay. And this by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And this by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And this by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Sangye joda zoge jonam la chanchu pardo dane gyapsuch Dage jinso kibe sonam gi dola penje sangye rubara sho Sangye joda zoge jonam la chanchu pardo dane gyapsuch Dage jinso kibe sonam gi dola penje sangye rubara sho Sangye joda zoge jonam la chanchu pardo dane gyapsuch Dage jinso kibe sonam Sangye Rubarai Sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations to the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, by my accumulations the practice of giving and so forth. May I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In dependent origination, there is no ceasing, no rising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the concept of the Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is free of elaborations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the bodhisattvas, These hears seeking pacification and complete peace, which through the knowledge of paths causes all self-migrations to achieve the aims of the world, and through the possession of which helps subdue and expand a variety of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by ultimate benefit sentient the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I chant the man of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tejam Datagato Yavatat Tesham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om Yedarama Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tejam Nathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashamanaye Swaha. Om Yedarama Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tejam Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashamanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The sensational causes as well as taught by the great Siha. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear-light, and non-compensative. Such is the nectar-like Dharma I have discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching in silence and in transient words. Pure utterance, thought, and expression is the perfection of wisdom, which is unborn, unseasoned as the admonition space. Is object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, of 3 times obeisance. The 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Lama, likewise the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the Rabindra, I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred with them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries glow. Instructions on parting from the 4 attachments. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you are no Bodhi realization. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Okay, now we want to turn to page 14. Praise to Shakyamuni Buddha. As indicated before, the last few days, as we recite particularly these verses, praising the Buddha is not that you praise the Buddha, Buddha is very happy, blessings are given to you. That's not the point. Whether you praise or not, Buddha always embraces all of us with so much love and affection. This is the definition of Buddha. But why do we praise then? It is to look at what are the qualities or the basis of which the Buddha is praised and see if you have these qualities. If you do have these qualities, rejoice. Rejoice. No, don't say that. Sometimes we tend to be so the humble, oh, these are not my qualities. These are your qualities. So you have to acknowledge it, but don't boast. Don't become egoistic. So acknowledge that you have these qualities. You acknowledge there's a joy in you. This joy will make you continue your journey. So it is so important to acknowledge your good qualities. Meanwhile, ego should not be given the space. Ego should not be given rise to because of seeing these qualities. So seeing these qualities, see how to nurture further. Nurture these qualities further. If you don't have these qualities, no doubt you have the seed of these qualities. You have the Buddha nature. Unlike a handful of sand, it is like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing of which oil does come. There's a potential for the oil. Each one of us, we have the potential for this perfection, these qualities. So why not identifying these? We have the seed, then try to germinate, try to cultivate these qualities. Once these qualities cultivated, see how to nurture them further to go through Gade Gade Para Gade Para Samade Bodhisattva. Okay, this should be our the should be how we recite this praise. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, Lord of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, subdue from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When all supreme amongst humans, you are born on this earth, you pierce out seven strides, then set up supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wish of motion like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the three worlds, win of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Just feel like you, the three worlds are not, incompatible wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, pure merit with the qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the low realms, the one power, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies the prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, wholly feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you the Sangha prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, but from only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. Star, a visual aberration, a flame lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew, or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the four faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Okay, Heart Sutra, page 29. As we recite the Heart Sutra, remember not to miss 3 points. One, with the background of how the Heart Sutra happened. First point, what's the question asked by Shariputra to Aravalokiteshvara? Question number 2, what is the answer response given by Aravalokiteshvara to Shariputra? Number 3, what is the benefit if we practice the wisdom of emptiness as taught by Aravalokiteshvara in great detail? What benefit? And the benefit is said here in Heart Sutra is that all your fears, all your the defects, all your demerits, all your defilements, all your unhappiness will dissolve. And further said that this wisdom of emptiness, this alone is the gateway for all the Buddhas of the past, the present, and the future. In other words, somebody to become Buddha, this is the only way. When we say this is the only way, it doesn't mean the bodhicitta renunciation is not required. This is not a connotation. This is the only path which cleanses your mind. And the energy is required for you to use this wisdom. And the energy required, the method required are the bodhicitta, renunciation, and the other, the facets of the path. Okay. The Heart Sutra, the Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I hear one time the Buddha was dwelling on massive Vulture's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those five aggregates also as the empty of inner nature. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Aravalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of the profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, correctly and repeatedly, beholding those five aggregates also as the empty of inner nature. Form is empty, empty is the form. Empty is not other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unreduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, no failing, no discrimination, no composite factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There's no I, element, and so on, up to and in knowing. No aging and death, and no age. Similarly, there's no suffering, origination, cessation, and path. There's no exalted wisdom, no attainment, also no non-attainment. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and dwell in perfection of wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly completely awakened, unsurpassable, perfect, complete enlightenment, and realize the professional wisdom. Therefore, the mother of the professional wisdom, the mother of the great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, since it is not false. The mother of the professional wisdom is declared, Deyata Om Gade Gade Bara Gade Bara. Some Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose in that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravarukteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound professional wisdom, just as you have indicated, even the Tathagatas rejoice. The Buddha, having thus spoken, Venerable Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravarukteshvara, who surrounding the entirety, along with the world of gods, humans, asuras, and gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, as we recite this, the mantra, just imagine, just visualize, just now, visualize that you are there on the Vulture's Peak, Rajgir, Vulture's Peak, Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Aravarukteshvara, Shariputra, they were all reciting, they were all in front of you. And then you are surrounded by, you are in the first row, and you are surrounded by two parents, all of them members, including children, and all the other sentient beings around you, leaving them aside. And imagine that the Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us thus: don't remain in the fears of samsara. No need to shed tears over again. Stop it. Come to this ultimate happiness. And you hearing this melodious voice of Buddha Shakyamuni so compassionately the taught, you then inform this to all your dear mother sentient beings, to your parents, children, everyone. And in fact, they are so inspired by what you are informing. And they come to join you in this journey of cleansing the mind, to awaken the Buddha nature, awaken the perfect seed of the perfect seed of perfection, to go towards the total fearlessness, infinite happiness. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasangate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamvate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamvate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamvate Bodhisvatyata. By the teachings of three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may in and outer ignorance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, May all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified. May the whole 80,000 problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma. May all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma. May auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. Okay, 8 verses of my training. I remember during one of the public addresses, His Holiness saying that His Holiness used to recite this verse, these verses every day, the 8 verses. So 8 verses, keep in mind that the one way to grow in your thinking, in your mind. And your mind, there are 2 sets. One is one set which gives rise to happiness, other set which gives rise to miseries. So that set which gives rise to happiness is labeled as virtues. The set of the mental functions give rise to miseries, labeled as non-virtues. And non-virtues at the core, at the foundation, the non-virtues lies the ego, self-centered attitude. Whereas for the virtues at the core, and the intensity of virtue is determined by the self-confidence. So we see that these two are very similar, self-confidence and the ego. These two are very similar. And the ordinary people, again, in the way of the market of ordinary and the evolved beings, ordinary people, they see these 2 things as same. Okay, self-confidence means egoistic. No ego means no self-confidence. Whereas evolved beings, for them, is very different. No ego, self-confidence is at the height. So if you're able to do that, there's an indication of you being very evolved. So we all have the capacity to become evolved. So our job is just to see how to crush the ego and how to boost the self-confidence. So we are never to compromise your self-confidence, but never to give in to the ego. Okay, so here it is primarily to suppress the ego, suppress the anger. These are the factors which make you not grow in compassion. And finally, the whole awakening of Buddha nature happens in the ambience of compassion. So you have to create this compassion. For this, we have to destroy and crush the non-conducive factors, ego, anger, and so forth. And what creates these factors are identified there, and see that you try to go away from these factors which create the anger and the ego, and boost your self-confidence. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe Dorji Damdul. Put the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish fulfilling gem. May hold them to whenever I interact with someone, may view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional fractures arise, as they endanger myself and others, I strongly confront them, avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I've discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I've held or on whom I've placed great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains from my mothers. May all these remain undefiled by the states of the 8 mundane concerns. And may I recognize in all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast space that I've amassed, from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds eyes blind by ignorance. Okay, the 7 in practice. This is very important. So, for example, say for us to undertake a journey, undertake a long journey, we should have a good preparation of the food and basic necessities on the journey. So these 7 practices are the basic necessities for us required to undertake the journey of Buddhahood. And this is self-explanatory. Each verse indicating each of the seven practices. Okay, like prostrations, offerings, and so forth. And there are so many versions of 7 practices, so many versions, meaning that same content matter, but written by this author, that author, and so forth. But we extracted this from the sutra, King of Prayers, so that it become very universal. Everybody can use this. Okay. Excerpt from the King of Prayers, an extraordinary aspiration to practice Samadhi. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you the Buddhas that lines amongst humans, fond of freedom in the present, past, and future, in the world of 10 directions. To all of you who sees a mind, I bow down. With the energy or aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as atoms of the world, to all you Buddhas visualize as real, I bow down. On every particle are Buddhas numberless as atoms. Each of them is a host of bodhisattvas. And confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugathas. Beautiful flowers and little garlands, sweet music, scented walls and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense offer to you victorious ones, the Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandal powder heaped high as Mount Meru. All wondrous offerings in spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with my body, speech, and mind, overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and ignorance, all these are openly laid bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and of all ordinary beings. You have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stage of awakening. All you are my guides. Please turn the Supreme Buddha's Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request who you may actualize parinirvana. Please stay with us for aeons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by practicing, I now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, short mandala offering, page 40. Mandala offering, the idea is that whatever good things that exist in the world, which you own, which you don't own, and which are visible, which are not visible, just visualize. Which are visible, just mentally offer them. All these good things, all Buddhist Bodhisattvas. The whole purpose is to accumulate merit. What do you mean accumulate merit? To give energy to your mind. To give energy to your mind. For example, the person with the stamina can run so long. Without stamina can run fast, but may not run long. So the stamina, the energy, that is you have to create this energy in your body, create it in your mind. So how to do that? These are the big offerings, big prostrations, and you get up, then do the offering, make filling the offering balls with the water, and whatever good things that you can think of, offer them. So these are energizing your mind. For Dhamma practice, it's not easy. It requires a lot of merit accumulation, which means that you should have tremendous energy, mental energy. This energy can be accumulated, like depositing money in the bank. Keep depositing, then you become richer, richer, richer. And then naturally, whenever you need something, instantly you can do that. Otherwise, you get stuck. You cannot move any further because there's no money there. So doing these virtues, like, make offerings, mandalas, make prostrations, offering lights, and so forth, these are for depositing the money in the bank of your mind to make the mind rich. When your mind becomes so rich, then you do the journey of your enlightenment, and there's no obstacles. It will just flow so smoothly. Okay. The ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha felt an offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. O Sajib Ge Joshe Mando Tam Re Ra Ne She Nyen Den Gen Ba De Sangye Sheno Me De Bu Aye Do the four Dhammas of Venerable Gambapa. May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practices on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. The four Dhammas of Venerable Bhikshu Mahasattva, becoming utterly frustrated with the ignorance that grasping true existence. Please bless me with genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as visually repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Edam Guru Rana Mendelagam Nirati Amen. So when you say Edam Guru Rana Mendelagam Nirati Amen, what you do is that you have some gesture or the mantra set. If you actually have a mantra set to offer, then in a way, you've already offered the whole universe, all the bodhisattvas. Now imagine that you receive them back. Bodhisattvas, they accept it already, and now they give it back to you, and you receive them back and dismantle this hand gesture or the mantra is said by turning that towards your heart. Or idam guru rana mende lagam neradyami. But the idea is that these blessings have the power to activate Buddha nature. And where is the Buddha nature? Your mind. And this mind, the ultimate residence is this heart chakra. So when you do that, you're activating these heart. Imagine that all these blessings go to this heart chakra, where where the mind ultimately resides. That is activated. This clear mind is activated. And you do every day, and of course, all the other main thing is your meditation, the study, reflection, meditation, and then alongside make offerings, make love for the lies, and the prostrations, the model offering, and so forth. And then one part of which is to dismantle it, to receive the blessings at your heart. Okay, good. Next, foundation of all good qualities. Next page. This is a roadmap to enlightenment. Up to this point is all preparation, preparing our journey, preparing for making preparation for a journey. Now this is the roadmap. After the preparation, then what is the roadmap? You do for the roadmap. Then you practice. Actually, these are all parts of practice, but they have this very specific significance. So this is the road, looking for the roadmap. So precious, extremely precious. In fact, this morning, when I was doing my own practice, when it came to this part, I was just so fascinated. Just 14 verses and reflect on the meanings is so profound. If you can just reflect on this on a daily basis, you can no doubt you can see that your mind is growing. So precious. So recite the mantras, not sure whether your mind is growing, mantras. We don't know the meaning. But it's these means so clear. And you see that your mind is actually enriched by this. It's so precious. So it's possible, whatever we do in the morning, if you do that on a daily, that would be wonderful. This is the wise thing, the wise person's approach. Okay. The foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is a kind and perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is only found. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. To abandon even the slightest negativity and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable. Seeking them is the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by the spirit of thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution and rise. The rule of the teachings keeping the Pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I've fallen into tears from Sunan, so have all Mother migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train in Supreme Bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility for freeing migratory beings. Even I've developed Bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality. I'll not achieve enlightenment. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of karma by special insight. Having become pure vessel by training the eternal path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and bless this life my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, essence of Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to generate the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who show the noble paths and the spiritual friends who practice every long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all out and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages and the paths, I could attain the state of Vajradhara. Okay, we'll say this maximum mantra in the memory of Lama Tsongkhapa to reflect on his qualities of the perfect love, perfect knowledge, and perfect power in the form of Aravalokiteshvara, Manjushri, and Avijapani. That's the English. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion. In Manjushri, merciful for all his wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroy the hosts of demons without exception. Tsongkhapa, crown jewel of the sages land of snows, lost on top at your feet, I make prostrations. In fact, the teachings will be greatly used in the Nalanda studies. His teachings are greatly used. Of course, we go back to the Nalanda masters, but then to tease apart the nuances, we heavily depend on Lama Tsongkhapa's interpretation. So therefore, to say the prayers, saying prayer to Lama Tsongkhapa, this would be so beneficial for us. Okay, we'll say this together. In Tibetan, we just skip the 3rd line. Kanchen kebe fugen kaba lo sa tabe shala so vaden Kanje kebe tsu ye tsong ga ba lo sa cha be sha la so wa de me me se ve de che che re se che me ke be o bo jambe ya Kanje kebe tsu ge tsu ga ba lo sa cha be sha la so wa de. Okay, now the actual practice referred to as the generating the mind of consummate yoga. In Tibetan, Tamje Nejuga Semkyepa. Okay, for this there are four parts. One is the single point of meditation, practice of single point of meditation, practice of renunciation, practice of bodhicitta, and practice of wisdom and emptiness, and then taking the absolute bodhisattva vow. Okay, first for the single point of meditation. Yesterday, I already gave the instruction, but very quickly. First, the body posture. The most important thing is sit upright and eyes not closed. These are the two things. Then the next is the focal point. What we're going to focus on is the breath. Just count the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle one. Breathe in, breathe out, cycle two. This is what we're going to do for 21 times, 21 cycles. 21 cycles is going to be 1.5 minutes. Then if you think you can do more, then you can go for multitasking. That is multitasking, counting your breath, simultaneously visualizing a tiny dot between nose and upper lip. These two things happen simultaneously. And then number three is identify the areas of the meditation. Two areas. Thank you. Okay. Errors, mental laxity, and mental excitement. Laxity meaning inactivity of the mind. Mind becomes sluggish, lethargic, heavy, sleeping, sinking. And the excitement is the mental scattering. And the two remedies, introspection and mindfulness, is so important that if you go through these two problems, you have to apply the remedies. Without this, it's better not to do the meditation. Okay, ready? Turn one. The 21 cycles. It's just 1.5 minutes. Are you good? And with this 21 cycles, in group, actually, it's better to do like 5 minutes rather than 21 cycles. 5 minutes is going to be like 60 cycles, 70 cycles, depending on the length of your breath. And but whereas when you're on your own, when you do it by yourself, then don't do it for too long, like 5 minutes. Do it like 21 cycles, which is 1.5 minutes. Because as the duration is longer, the quality, you tend to compromise the quality. This is natural tendency. As you've been consistent with this practice, and then you see that you are able to have a very clear, say, even the count, the counting the breath is very steady. There's no distraction, and the visualization is also very clear, sustained for 2 months, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then you can extend it to 5 minutes, even just by yourself in your own room by yourself. You can extend to 5 minutes and just see if that works for the next. Again, we see that by extending it to 5 minutes, again the laxity and the excitement can come. And again, with a consistent practice, you're able to sustain this quality of the meditation for the next 1 or 2 weeks. Again, you can extend to 10 minutes. So don't do like, okay, how long do you do meditation? Yes, I do meditation. How long do you do meditation? 1 hour, 2 hours. This is totally wrong. It's a disaster. It's a self-destruction. It's not going to do anything good to you. It's just a name for you to impose your ego that I do meditation for 2 hours. You do, how long do you meditation? And the 1.5 minutes. What is 1.5 minutes? Which means that this person does not know what is meditation. You're getting it? Start with 21 cycles, 1.5 minutes. See if you can sustain the quality. If you can, over the span of 1 or 2 weeks, then you can extend it to 5 minutes in one stretch. Again, see if experience you can see, then longer the duration, more the likelihood that the mental accident and excitement can come. And if you're able to sustain, again, if you're able to sustain this quality for the 5 minutes meditation, maintain the quality for the next 1 or 2 weeks, then you can extend to 10 minutes. And then with 10 minutes high quality, then you will be in a position to decide on your own how much to extend and so forth, what you got. So next is renunciation. For the renunciation, there are so many versions like Lama practice and so forth. So what we do is, in fact, all these things like the Lama practice or the 4 detachments and so forth, all this boil down to the same point. Boil down to the Buddha's own teachings of the 4 seals. So in group, we do the 4 seals. Ready? This is going to be guided meditation, which means that instructions will be given and follow your mind. They follow the instructions. Your mind should follow the instructions and see how much you can invoke the respective experiences. And don't try to correlate with with the instructions given given to you versus with what you've learned before. You have read something, heard from somewhere else. So don't try to correlate. If you do want to correlate, you can correlate later on after the practice. Okay, so at this point, we have to make the most of our being together in this practice. Just follow the instructions, the related to the 4 seals. Ready? Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce your miseries, not renounce your happiness. To renounce the miseries, we need to know, the wise people will know how to renounce the causes of the miseries. The Buddha taught, Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava. All these phenomena arise from causes and also pertain to the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha taught, this is the truth of suffering. This is the truth of the cause of suffering. So wise people will always track the cause and cut the cause, remove the cause, and the miseries are curtailed. What are the causes of the miseries? Primarily 4 misconceptions, 4 levels of ignorance. 1, misconceiving impermanent phenomena as permanent. misconceiving miseries as happiness, misconceiving impure things as pure, misconceiving what lacks objective existence to be as objectively existent. These are the four main misconceptions of the ignorance responsible for all miseries. How to get rid of them? Yes, for this the Buddha taught the four seals. The first, all composite things impermanent. Composite things, things which are composed of directional parts, like atoms, electrons, protons, so forth, and things which are made of temporal parts. And of course, things which are made of directional parts, meaning the material phenomena, they should necessarily have both parts, directional parts as well as temporal parts, or parts in space and parts in time. Whereas the mind has the parts only in time, it has only temporal parts, not the directional parts, because it's not physical. It's not physical. Okay, so whatever is constituted of these two things, including the person, the self, the mind, the body, the house, the food that we eat, so forth, they're all impermanent in nature. And this impermanence is of two kinds, gross and subtle. It's so important for us to reflect on the gross impermanence, where the Buddha taught all what gathers will disperse. All what is accumulated will exhaust. All what stands will fall. And all what is born will die. These are the realities. And Jesus Milarepa said, picking up the skull of the mother in his debilitated house. When this mother was there, her son was away. When the son came, the mother is gone. Even if the mother and son were to be together, there's no meaning, there's no purpose, there's no meaning there. Better it is for this yogi to live in the mountains for practice, for a greater purpose, awakening. So this is the impermanence. And it's true. 2,200 years ago, this planet did not really have 8 billion human beings. No doubt, like 5 billion human beings. And among these 5 billion human beings, there were people of your age, people who were younger than you, people who were older than you. And they have their own plans. Their parents have so much expectation from the children. And the children, they have so much expectation, the hope for their career. Now, where these people, whether their career expectations are met or not met, they're all gone. Not even a single person left today. We talk about some enlightened beings, or this saint, that saint, and so forth. But in the visibly speaking, not even a single person, 5 billion human beings 200 years ago, is alive today. That's fact. And we are not enlightened beings. 200 years later in the future, it's not that we are fortunate ones, they are the unfortunate ones. No, it's a matter of time. 200 years later in future, not even a single person out of these 8 billion human beings will be left then. And you have your so much expectation, young ones, expectation, your careers and so forth. And your parents have so much expectation from you. Whether expectations are accomplished, not accomplished, 200 years later in the future from now, not even a single person will be left then. This is reality. The whole world is going to be inhabited by very different people, different set of generation of the people. This is impermanence. And look at anything good that you experience, we see that they perish, they disappear at the end. Cheesecake, we eat it, and the next moment it's gone. The moments you eat, and the next moment it's gone. Family gatherings is so beautiful, birthday celebration is so beautiful. And after 2, 3, 4 hours, you feel tired, everybody disperses. This is what the Buddha taught. All gatherings end up being dispersed. Yes. It's very painful to think about the subtle, the gross impermanence, and yet this gross impermanence should necessarily the underscoring subtle impermanence, which is momentariness. Momentariness meaning the change you see over the span of 1 year is possible only if the change is happening in a month's time, in a week's time, in daily, hourly, minute by minute, second by second, millisecond by millisecond, nanosecond by nanosecond. This is reality, how all the composite phenomena, they are marked by the subtle impermanence, momentariness. But when you look at body, when you look at the house, when you look at your friends, you don't see them moving so fast, changing on the nanosecond level. But this the deception to our eyes, optical delusion of our eyes. Our eyes are so gross not to see that. It is only those people who are involved, who are more sensible, who are matured, they think deeper into the reality beyond the optical delusion. So they realize that all composite phenomena, they're marked by subtle impermanence, momentariness. What is subtle impermanence, momentariness is like? If you experience this, it's very scary. It's like that you being thrown into a very fast moving train by a stranger. Faster the train moves, more the fear that you have. Why? We don't know where this train is taking us. So naturally, the more the fear that we have, we get faster the train moves. Okay, the next question. Where is this train taking us? Train of our body, train of our mind, train very fast, moving the world, your friends. Where is this taking me? So it depends on the driver. And in our case, the driver is a mind. And if the driver is your mother or the father, no doubt this train will take you to the picnic spot. But if the driver is the demons, terrorists, no doubt will take you to the slaughterhouse. So in our case, the driver is a mind. Unfortunately, this mind is under the dictate of the demons, contaminations, worst of which is the self-grasping ignorance when complemented by self-centered attitude. As long as our mind is contaminated, it will only take us to the miseries. Okay, that's very true. What kind of miseries? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, and anguish. And one moment of such a misery is good enough to nullify all the past moments of merriments and the wonder, celebrations, birthday parties. So one moment of such a disaster, tragedy, the loss of near and dear ones is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of joys and happiness. Yes, that's very true. So which means that we continue to shed tears of these sadness, this anxiety, stress, and so forth. When will these miseries come to an end? They'll never come to an end until we put exert concerted effort. What kind of effort is required? Okay, so these miseries, to remove these miseries, to stop and bring an end to these miseries, we need to know how to bring an end to the cause of the miseries. Ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato hevatat tesham chayo nirodha evam vadima ashramana suha. The cessation of these miseries, cessation of the cause of miseries as well, is taught by the Tathagata. So, how to bring an end to the cause of the miseries. This is the wise person's approach. Okay. So the cause of miseries ultimately lies in self-grasping ignorance. How to get rid of this? Introduce a counterforce. And what is the counterforce? The counterforce is the wisdom of emptiness, which is so precious. And to something, organize this program for all of us, for me to refresh what I've learned from my teachers, and for the young ones, for all of us to learn about this. We are so fortunate. Okay, let's coolly meditate emptiness. We are now almost prepared for this from all the groundwork that we did the last few days. Okay, so this emptiness meditation we're going to do is going to be a very simple one, but let's just follow the instructions and see how much you can reflect on the meanings. Okay. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative position. So this meditation on the emptiness of the person, emptiness of yourself. How does this person who you identified as a self appear to you? How does this person appear to you? Like a dream, like a movie being projected by the movie projector, or as so objectively there, so independent, there, nothing to do with my mind is like the movie projector. Of course, it appears so objectively there. And the belief that this self exists so real, this is known as self-grasping ignorance. And how do you know that this ignorance is not a valid mind? How do you know that? Okay, if the self does exist objectively, remember what Arjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the self were to exist objectively, if the self who identifies myself as I were to exist objectively, why do I see the self as I go closer to this object? Okay, now let's go closer to this object. Going close to the object is known as ultimate analysis. Let us subject self to ultimate analysis. Subjecting self to ultimate analysis, when you see the self is not there, doesn't mean the self doesn't exist. It simply means that self doesn't exist objectively. Because ultimate analysis is looking for to see if things exist objectively. So when the self dissolves, it means self doesn't exist objectively. Self does exist, but subjectively. Okay, so subjecting self ultimate analysis by going closer to self, and we see a very thin layer of the skin. So whatever is not, if we are interested in the self, objective existence self, whether or not it exists, and whatever is not the self, whatever is not the self, just ignore this. Okay, by subjecting self-ultimate analysis, we see thin layer of the skin, behind that, the fatty tissues, behind that, the muscles, cartilages, the bones, the whole skeleton, the heart, the lungs, the brain, gallbladder, spleen, liver, kidney, stomach, intestine. None of these solid parts constitute the self. All these solid parts, they are the element earth. Element earth is not the self. Element earth is not to be identified as intrinsic one with the self. It's not to be identified as objectively as a self in the eyes of the ultimate analysis. What is next? Element of water, 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not the self, not to be identified as the self. Element of fire, 2,600 joules of energy that a body has. Of course, that is not the self. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that we breathe in and out through our lungs. Of course, that's also not as I. Element of space, 99.99% of our body is just vacuum. And yet, this space is not me. The space is vacuum in nature, and I'm a solid person. This space is also not me. What is left? Element of consciousness or the element of mind. I'm a male. I'm a female. This mind does not have a gender. Gender is posited on the basis of the body. So this mind is not the self. And on top of that, people can see me. People cannot see my mind. So therefore, even this mind is also not me. Okay, what is left now? Nothing is left now. So from this, what I've deduced is that none of these 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsic one with the self. Okay, now we've come too close to the object. What do you see? You see the 6 elements, and we are sure that none of 6 elements is to be identified as intrinsic one with one with the self. And if the self does still, if you think self is intrinsic real or object real, remove the 6 elements to see if it exists as other than 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what happens? Nothing is left there. So both the 2 possibilities for the self to exist objectively are ruled out. Now from the object, where is there a self? Nothing to be identified as self. Stay in this experience for a while. And if you're successful in this meditation, for some, a tinge of a fear can come. For some, a very tranquil experience can come. A tickling sensation can come. Cold waves can flow through your bodies. If these things happen, you're very fortunate. If not, don't worry. Just continue to study more, reflect more, and gradually these indications will come, indicating that you are in the proper direction of the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, this amazing practice. But what's the benefit of this? Yes, just as this self dissolves in the experience of these meditation emptiness, when you subject all your miseries, all your sorrows into this analysis, ultimate analysis, even the sorrows will dissolve. Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish, everything will dissolve in the experience of emptiness when subject to ultimate analysis. Wow. Sorrow dissolves, your agitation dissolves, mental disturbance dissolves. The mind will instantly feel the peace, and that to absolute peace. This is the meaning of transcending sorrow, is absolute peace. This experience of the emptiness, by subjecting the self to ultimate analysis, this helps us transcend the sorrow. Transcend the sorrow, you get such a profound, expansive peace. Amazing. Wow. Just feel a very strong aspiration. May I be able to experience this absolute peace by transcending sorrow in the experience of this emptiness through subjecting the miseries to ultimate analysis. This is a true meaningful renunciation. Okay, slowly come out of the practice, come out. We'll switch to the bodhicitta practice. Are you ready? For the bodhicitta practice, when you're by yourself or when you're on your own, it is advisable to do the two methods. But here in group, two methods will take a long time. We have only about like 12 minutes. So we'll do the four immeasurables. And of the four immeasurables, we'll only do the first two, immeasurable loving kindness and immeasurable compassion. And when you're on your own, you can do all the four immeasurables and the two methods. Okay, ready? Okay, for this compassion, we need so much of support and blessings from all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas who embody the ultimate compassion, universal compassion. Invoke all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us as so loving, caring, embracing. And around you, your two parents, your children, and all dear mothers and sisters with you. Immeasurable loving kindness. Okay, so when you do only these two, better to do the immeasurable compassion first, followed by loving kindness. And people argue, debate, which which of the two should be done first. In some texts, they said the immeasurable kindness. It doesn't matter. You practice. It doesn't matter which to eat first, the rice or the dal. It doesn't matter. The hunger should be removed. So some people did debate. We should be practiced. You are doing wrong. No, and finally, the person is not doing at all anything. Do something, and you see that your growth will happen. Compassion growth. That is the purpose. And the growth is happening, whichever order is fine. Okay, immeasurable compassion. Just follow the instructions. How good would it be that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all my dear mother sentient beings be freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that you make such a courageous commitment, like the mother after all these many years of raising her children, the hardship in raising her children. Today, the eldest girl, eldest daughter, just age 12, the eldest son, age 11, two of them come to the mother. Telling the mother, "Mother, please take rest. You have done everything for us. Now we're grown up. We'll take care of our siblings, all our siblings." And the mother couldn't believe her eyes and ears. She loves you so much. And seeing that you are taking such a responsibility as a little girl, little boy, she's so proud. This is exactly what is happening to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, seeing that you are taking such a huge responsibility to free all the beings from suffering in the course of suffering. They are so happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke their compassion, omniscient minds to send for nectars of soothing light towards you and all Dhamma sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectars with the bodies beings are yours, washes of all the miseries and cause of miseries. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all the Dhamma sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable compassion, immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness? Causes of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness and the unconditional love of bodhicitta, the most fearless wisdom, the most fearless mind, which is the wisdom of emptiness, and the most beautiful mind, which is the unconditional love of bodhicitta. May all my dear mother sentient beings be endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. I will take the responsibility that all my dear mother sentient beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas witnessing the doing is such a courageous commitment, the intense happy and proud of you. This pride and happiness invoke the compassion of omniscient minds to send forth nectars of soothing light towards you and all dear mother sentient beings. The mere touch of light and nectars with the body space yours instills in all happiness and causes happiness in the master sentient beings of yourself. And you witnessing such a miracle is happening to us all our dear sentient beings. You're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Just embody this experience of the unconditional love towards all the beings with folded hands. And let us make a bodhicitta commitment together. I'll say this line of bodhicitta commitment, and we'll all say this 3 times together. And even if your mind doesn't really resonate with what you're saying, it doesn't matter. So this is the meaning of the practice. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. This experience, if it becomes so natural, this is known as bodhicitta. Imagine that this bodhicitta that you have invoked now, transforms into a spotlessly clean moon disk. And it is the moon disk, and it horizontally sits at your heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. That's amazing. But how do you know that you can become a Buddha? No matter how much you squeeze a handful of sand, no oil will come out. So how do you know that you can become Buddha? Yes, you're right. I'm not like a handful of sand. I'm like a handful of sunflower seeds, squeezing which oil does come out. Like, if you put the nature within me, with concerted effort, the Buddhahood can be manifested. But since time immemorial till now, you have never activated this Buddha nature. How can you know that today you can activate it? Yes, you're right. Since time immemorial, I've been deceived by these 2 demons, self-grasping and self-centered. Today I'm disillusioned by these 2. Now, these two are no more my friends. These two are my demons. I will do everything to exterminate these two. What are you going to do to exterminate these two? I will resort to a very powerful remedy. What is that? The wisdom of emptiness. What is the wisdom of emptiness? Okay, let's quickly retrieve the experience of emptiness, which we did as the third seal, as a part of the four seals meditation. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And you know that you're made of six elements: element earth, all the solid parts, element water, the blood, element fire, the body heat, element of air, the air that we breathe in and out through our lungs, element space, and element of consciousness or a mind. Okay, which of six elements, subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, which of six elements is the self? None. Just see if the self exists as objectively different from these six elements. Remove the six elements, what's there? Nothing is left there. Now, from the object, there's nothing there to be identified as the self, which means self is the end of objective existence. In your experience, subjective self ultimate analysis, the self dissolves like a space. Nobody to be identified would be identified as a self, like a space. It becomes like empty. Stay in this experience for a while. Slowly transform this most fearless mind of the wisdom of emptiness into a spotless, clean, thumb-sized white vajra, vertically sitting at the heart, vertically sitting at moon disk, at the center of the moon disk, at the heart. Wow, that's amazing. This moon is symbolic of the conventional bodhicitta to exterminate all the self-centered attitude, and the Vajra symbolizing the ultimate bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of the bodhisattvas, to guarantee you that this will exterminate all the self-grasping, the self-centered attitude, all mental defilements, afflictive obscurations, cognitive obscurations. Wow, that's amazing. This guarantees that you're going to experience the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. Yes. But what of my two parents, all my family members, children, and all my dear Mother Sanchami, their suffering was upon me experiencing ultimate happiness if all my dear Mother Sanchami is suffering. Yes, this great compassion that you invoke, this compassion invokes the Vajramuni at your heart to multiply infinite number of times. And share one set of the Vajramuni with your mother at the heart. One set of Vajramuni with the father at his heart. One set with each one of your children, each one of your family members, each one of the sentient beings here into something, each one of the sentient beings in your own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and then the entire universe, everyone in the ocean, all these trillions of creatures in the ocean, now they have the Virgin Moon at the heart. All the trillions of the creatures in the wilderness, in the forest, they have the Virgin Moon shared by you at the heart. Amazing. Now, this guarantees that all of them as well will experience fearlessness. They don't live in fear anymore. They will experience infinite happiness. That's amazing. So let's not forget that all Buddhist Bodhisattvas are watching us. Why not we invite them to be the witness to undertaking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow? And the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, it doesn't mean that you have so much commitment. No. Anybody can take this. You don't even need to be a Buddhist. Anybody can take this aspiration Bodhisattva vow as long as you feel that this compassion is so precious. From today onwards, I'll try my best to help others. If not, at least I'll not harm others. This much if you can commit, you're entitled to take this action Bodhisattva vow. So, as a gesture of making request to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas to take part, with witness to undertake the aspirant Bodhisattva vow, let's slowly stand up to make three prostrations to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, and along with all the Dhamma Sanjam beings making prostrations. Okay, possible. If possible, sit on your right knees. Sit on your right knees the way I'm sitting. If possible. If you have knee problems, back problems, it's fine. You can sit in whatever position possible. Otherwise, try to sit on the right knees. And because it'll take a little time, like 5-6 minutes, and the in between, if you feel the pain signal like this, then the moment you start to feel the pain, you can sit in the most comfortable position. The pain should not hamper our reflection. Okay, with this in mind, let's turn to page number 50. Page 50. Okay, so this is extremely precious what we're doing here, and we over time will, the young ones and all of us will realize that finally the greatest of the meaning is, say, even from the selfish point of view, is for your peace of mind, and the real peace of mind will be given to us by compassion. Where there's compassion growing, expanding, compassion towards yourself, compassion towards your family members, your parents, your children, your colleagues, your friends, and gradually to animals, insects, your happiness expands. This is what we can see. Okay, so with this in mind, I explained this already the last time. I'm going to explain the first one. So we are taking the aspiration Bodhisattva vow, meaning that making commitment that I'll become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. So this is a journey of enlightenment, and this journey is not external journey; it's internal journey. And just for external journey, we require where the journey is very tedious, very difficult, unknown place. You require great support. And this journey, there's nothing more, say, the meaningful, and of course, a journey which we never took thus far, this journey of enlightenment. And because of this, we need the greatest of the support. And the greatest support that possibly exists is the triple gem. So the first line says, I'll go for refuge in the triple gem, which means you are seeking support. Then this journey involves road. Road must be clear of the obstacles, like the boulders, the rocks, the stones, or the fallen trees and so forth. Likewise, this road is none. The journey of enlightenment, the road is none other than your own mind. This mind must be freed of the obstacles, of the negativities. So how to remove them is by confessing the negativities. The second line says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is clean, but if the car doesn't have fuel, again you cannot arrest the journey. So the car is none other than your own mind. Your mind should have the inner fuel of the merit accumulation. And the best way by which to accumulate merit within a short span of time, very successful, is by rejoicing in the virtues and the merits of other beings. So third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now the road is clear. Car is enough fuel. What kind of journey I'm going to undertake? I'm going to undertake a journey of enlightenment, Buddhahood for the benefit of all human sentient beings and for yourself. The last line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, we'll say this wholeheartedly 3 times together. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next 2 verses begins with invoking your gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be heed to you, what you're doing. And in the history of humanity, who succeeded in this to benefit all the beings? In the history of humanity, we see that Prince Siddhartha, 2,500 years ago, he did it. And how he succeeded? Even after 2,500 years later, we see that his teachings of compassion, wisdom, they're so alive. So many people have benefited. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Lama Tsongkhapa, Milarepa, Guru Padmasambhava, Sajjan Kumbhanyingpo, all these great teachers, they're the product of his teachings. So with this in mind, see that how he succeeded. He succeeded through two things. First is that he generated very strong bodhicitta spirit, and then the number two, to actualize this, to materialize this aspiration of the bodhicitta, he engaged in bodhisattva practices, and this is how he succeeded in benefit all the beings. So the second verse says that if this how he did, I will emulate. I will I will mimic. I'll follow his footsteps by generating very strong bodhicitta motivation, and to materialize this aspiration, I'll engage in bodhisattva practices. Okay, wholeheartedly, let's say this 3 times together. And during the third repetition, the last 2 lines, likewise, shall I too successfully train the bodhisattva practice. When you say that during the third repetition, imagine that we have received the aspiration bodhisattva vow. Okay, and feel the joy. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the Mara Bodhicitta, just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the Mara Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the Mara Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the Mara Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the Mara Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the Mara Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, just feel the joy over having received that Bodhisattva vow. Very fortunate. So the Buddha very clearly indicated that out of all the offerings that you can make to Bodhisattvas, even if you fill the whole world with gems like diamonds, silvers, and so forth, and offer them to all the Bodhisattvas, this is by no means can be compared with one moment merit that you accumulate by one moment of generated compassion towards all the beings. So if this were to be the case, then what I mentioned of our having taken the aspiring bodhisattva vow, we are all very fortunate that we have not today made the greatest offerings to all bodhisattvas. And also that of all the gifts, the presents that you can give to all the dear sentient beings, this is the best of the gifts that you can think of, the unconditional love to all the beings. And today you have generated, you have given this gift of the bodhicitta and the wisdom and emptiness to all the dear sentient beings. Amazing. And in your life, we see that since time immemorial till now, what we have been doing, we've been doing all the negative karmas and so forth, which only drag us into more miseries and miseries. And today you have done something so meaningful where you attain the 2 ultimate goodnesses. 2 ultimate goodnesses, ultimate goodness for yourself and ultimate goodness for others. And this is the wisest thing. And this is how you extracted such meaning, how we given such meaning to your life, and today you did it. And this all happens because today you did it, and all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're so proud of what you've done today. So the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're so happy, proud, and this pride and happiness invoke the Vajramoon in the full-fledged form in the hearts to send forth. And they multiply infinite number of times and descend to merge with the one that visualizes your heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized, and blessed of what you have visualized in your heart. Likewise, all these innumerable replicas of Vajramoon from the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with the one that you visualize in the heart of your mother, and the heart of your father, and the heart of each one family, including your children, and each of the sentient beings here in Tosamling, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and the entire universe. Now, all the sentient beings, the Vajramoon that you have shared with them, they're being blessed, become non-dual, and they stabilized by the replicas descended, sent forth by all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. This is amazing. This is such a great meaning that you've given to yourself today, extracted today out of your life. All this happens because of the kindness and the blessings of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, as a gesture of thanking them You, along with all Tibet sentient beings, let us slowly stand to make true prostrations to our Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, now you can take your seat. Please sit comfortably. Okay, we turn to page 51. Page 51. In this life, in a way, we are very fortunate that we have come in contact with the teachings of Bodhicitta, teaching wisdom of emptiness, and most important, having met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, such an enlightened being, a living Buddha today. We are very fortunate. And then also that through his blessings, through his encouragements, through his constant advice to focus on bodhicitta and wisdom of emptiness, we are here together because of the Transcendence arrangement. And so we are very fortunate. At the same time, what about future lives? Are we going to meet with the same teachings? There are 8 billion human beings. If you don't believe, go to the airport and go to the train station and see how many of the people there, out of let's say 1,000 people there, how many people heard about the aspiration Bodhisattva vow? How many heard about bodhicitta? Out of 10,000 people there, 2, 3, 4. So how come that we are just this small pocket? We are so fortunate that we become part of this small group and who is extracting such a meaning out of one's life. But what about next life? Will it be in this group or in the larger group who have no idea about bodhicitta, wisdom, emptiness, and then go deeper into samsara, right? So what do you do? So the best thing is in this life, try best to practice so well. So last year, if you have studied physics well, then this year it is very easy for you. So likewise, this life, if you practice the bodhicitta wisdom emptiness so well, next life is very easy for you. This is the logic. So with this, at the same time, will we meet or not? This is question. Meet with the Dhamma or not? In fact, some of you met with the Dhamma very late meaning not by birth. Some of you, but some people who meet the Dhamma after 20 years, or after 30 years, they are more effectively into Dharma than people who are born in Dharma, right? Tibetans, Ladakhis, Arunachalis, they're born into Dharma. But then people who, not born in Dharma, later at the age of 20, 30, 40, they come in Dharma, right? They go into Dharma is more strict, more fast. People into the Tibetans, Ladakhis, Arunachalis, and so forth, right? Yeah, Dharma is, I'm so fond of Dharma. And what is Dharma? Dharma is compassion. What is compassion? Compassion is kindness. What is kindness? Compassion. And what is emptiness? Emptiness is impermanence, right? So they don't know. They're not too serious. So meeting with the Dharma is very important. Once met, to be very serious with the Dharma is very important. Then Gade happens. So without meeting, even if you're very serious, what are you serious about? You don't know. You have no clue. You are not happy with where you are, but you don't know what you look for. Actually, you are searching for the Dharma. You're not meeting with the Dharma. You're getting it? So to meet with the Dharma, this is so important. How to meet with the Dharma? Include very powerful prayers. So the next verse, page 51, this verse is to say to connect us to the Dharma of the Bodhisattva Goswami Emptiness in the next slice. Include that in the form of a very powerful prayer. Okay, let's say these 3 times together, seriously, and imagine the all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas there, and all Idiyama beings are with you. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may I always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious bodhicittas even in the course of my life. Okay, now, having come in contact with the Dharma, that you rigorously engage in the Dharma. What determines that is like, which of the 2 things you rigorously engage in? Your birthday party or the exam? Birthday party, you prepare for the exam, which is more rigorous? Prepare for the exam. That's amazing. All of you must be now PhD Nobel laureate in physics, right? Exam is, very tiring, right? Very tiring. Yes, there's no joy there, right? And birthday party, they fly so fast. Yes, is as well like Shoaib never celebrated birthday, never celebrated. It was something. Okay. Or Diwali, New Year, or something, when you're a small child. You're getting it? Where there's a joy, there's a rigor there. Where there's no joy, there's no rigor there. So passion. So the next verses, these are to trigger joy in bodhicitta. Trigger joy. So the next life, somebody talks about bodhicitta as a little girl, as a little boy. Somebody talks about you as a little boy, little girl. The bodhicitta means it is like, hearing about your birthday. You feel the joy. And this joy will make you go into the Dharma very seriously. Right? Okay. So the next verses, they are for to trigger joy within you over having generated 2 bodhicittas. And these are all extracted from Bodhisattva Shantideva's book. In order to further increase this bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have lucidly seized and awakened the mind of bodhicitta in this way should highly praise it in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha, and now in one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsightly traits. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in Hebrew rubbish, likewise, by some coincidence, an awakened mind has been born within me. Is the supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death. Is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates all poverty in the world. Is the supreme medicine that quells the world's disease. Is the tree that shelters all beings wandering and tired on the path of conditioned existence. Is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth. Is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. Is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world. Is the quintessential butter from the churning of the milk of Dharma. For all those guys traveling on the path of conditioned existence who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temperate and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, good. Now dedication. I dedicate the merit thus gathered to the realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas over 3 times, and to the upholding of doctrine, scripture, and insight. When all lives through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the Mayana vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, purification in 2 stages. From our 2 collections, vast space that have amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom eyes blind ignorance. Deyata Om Gate Gate Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswa Adyata Om Gate Gate Pat Arasamgate Bodhi Swaha Adyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha